Brittany and Chiron just got back from Young for Life Wellness, and now they're glowing so much, I'm starting to look like a before picture in a moisturizer commercial.
Do you want some tips, Jeff?
I prefer sarcasm and good lighting.
Welcome to Fargo Talks.
Fargo Talks.
Fargo Talks.
This is Fargo Talks.
So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
I think the world of you and what you've done, and I've done some mild stalking of you that's HR appropriate, to see what you've done. And it's pretty fucking cool, Brittany.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's something that, do you find it as a woman in your field, it's harder than men?
That's a great question. And I used to feel like, yes, as a woman, it was harder. I don't feel that way anymore. I feel now that I know how to seek opportunities, I'm not afraid to ask. So maybe when I was younger, I felt that way, but that's definitely changed.
How long have you been doing it?
Working for myself as a professional athlete.
Huh?
Since 2020 is when I completely dove in.
Perfect
and
time.
got rid of
Whole world shutting down. Good for you.
Exactly. So I did it before. I actually started my coaching business in 2015, but I'm a very calculated person. I wanted to make sure that financially I had all my ducks in a row before I did something risky. So, it never felt like the right time to make that leap of faith. But funny story was a podcast episode during COVID actually inspired me to do all that. I was listening to an episode it was called I actually forget the name of the podcast. That's terrible. But it was an interview with John Meadows, who unfortunately has passed away. But he was the owner of the supplement company I'm sponsored with called Granite. And he strategically talked about how in his 40s, he left his financial job, paid off his mortgage, did the math so that if he didn't make any money for 6 months, his family would be fine. He had 2 boys, a wife. And I was like, you know what? I don't have any kids. My only responsibility is really my dog. I was in a relationship at that time, but I was planning on leaving him, leaving my job, kind of everything. So, yeah.
That's, it's something that, like, what's something or some things you would tell the younger version of Brittany, of Brittany 2020? What would Brittany 2025 tell Brittany 2020?
Oh, you have no idea what's in store for you, and it is not going to be easy. I would tell her to try and relax a little more, because I always acted like things were the end of the world if I didn't achieve success by X date. I spent a lot of time alone. There were times I wouldn't go out because I would want to work. I just really couldn't relax until probably about a year and a half ago. And I find myself resorting back to kind of like anxious old habits. Everyone has bad habits, and I'm admitting it. I think people can look at social media and think this person has their life together, which, on paper I have my life together, but there are some days or some periods of time that I'm just an anxious person. I think it just comes with being a high achiever and always wanting more. But at some point, I often think about my future, and I'll look back and it's like, I really do have everything that I've wanted. So I try to enjoy that. But at times it's like, especially living in Vegas, I'm not from here. It's like you see more, you want more. So I try to always practice gratitude and just enjoy the simple things. But sometimes that gets really hard.
I think being an entrepreneur, I can empathize.
Yeah.
Because your biggest motivator is the mirror. Your biggest critic is the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
You're never doing well enough. I have a tough time celebrating things.
Yes.
Do you?
Same. I absolutely do. Like, I remember this past September, I won an overall at Legions. And I was like, okay, cool. Time for the next thing. And I didn't really reflect on it so I have a podcast, and my co-host said, like, you came out of retirement and did this. Aren't you happy? And it kind of dawned on me, like, wow, because I'm a coach, I don't celebrate my own achievements. And looking back, it's like, I am so happy for that. I am so grateful, but it's always like, what's the next thing? What more can I do?
Do you go on vacation?
No.
Never?
No, my partner and I were just talking about that. So the only vacations I've ever been on were for work related. So I've traveled because of my sport, and I've stayed a little bit later or explored the area, and I do some part-time reporting. So I'm lucky enough to be able to go to places for that. But yeah, my partner and I were just talking about that. He's like, you need to go to a beach for a week and not work. And I was like, I can't even imagine that. You know, I think about when I had a corporate job and I would have like weekends off. I was building my side business, and I'm like, I don't know if I would want to not work, but I do know that it's important to take time to celebrate the big wins.
Do you ever rest? Like, you know, how many days a week do you work out?
5.
So 2 days you rest
Mm-hmm.
for recovery, for growth, for everything else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Vacation is the same thing. You know this.
So yes,
You're like,
I know.
motherfucker,
I do know this. I
shit.
do know this.
But to take that vacation, I same thing. Okay. And I'm far older than you, but same thing in terms of drive and building all this shit. And it took my wife to teach me how to relax, that I can go away. But my problem is I don't get excited like, oh, I got this trip booked until I'm on the plane.
Okay. Yeah.
And I've ordered a drink and I'm sitting there. I'm like, oh, okay.
It's so funny you say that about planes. So I sometimes do my best creative work on a plane, and I try not to buy. So I'm actually going on a flight this Wednesday, and I haven't been on a flight since December, which is a long time for me. And I'm really excited because what I purposely try to do is get all my client work and my emails done prior. And I open the Notes app a lot of times on my phone or Google Docs, and I try to write because, you know, I'm stuck there. I can't really do anything. I'm always on the go. So I do a lot of creative work on a plane because I'm forced to just sit there. Like when I'm at home, I think that's been hard for me. I don't know about you, but working from home has been, you know, I'm good at it, but it's incredibly difficult because I feel like it's now my place of work. So even if like all admin work and stuff is done for the day, or I have like a podcast studio in my office, I'm like, okay, what else can I do? Or can I food prep? Can I clean? It's really hard for me to relax. The one thing I do to relax is I go on walks every day. And I'm really, really good about not looking at my phone. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I used to listen to Audible or a podcast because I felt like, oh, I need to learn and absorb something while I'm walking. But lately, I've just been enjoying the 30 minutes of complete silence.
You need to take a vacation.
Mm-hmm, I do.
Go with your partner.
Yes, that's what we want.
Pick something. But it's like, it's never the right time. You might not both like 100% agree, but it's like, come to a happy, mediate it and be like, okay, what about this? What about this? And then go.
Yeah, we need to.
It will do so much for your personal development and growth, for your personal development and growth of your relationship. You will fall deeper in love.
I'll tell him that. Yeah, no, he's been pressuring me. We have a lot of things coming up. I have a surgery soon. We have a couple weddings, but we're going away Wednesday.
And there's always something.
Yes,
my love.
I know.
Okay, there's always something that's going to come up. Work, this. And we live in such a 24/7 world now because of the internet and texting and social media and clients and personal development and all that. You're like, there's not enough time in the day. No, there is. But you have to put yourself first and to say, all right, we're going to go to Huntington Beach, wherever. Pick, insert spot here, Disney World, and we're going to go and just enjoy.
I'm going to make sure we do that, and then I will make sure I tell you when we do.
I want to be your balance accountability partner.
Okay. I love that, Jeff.
I want you to text me.
Okay.
As soon as you have whatever you're going to do and you've booked it, just take a picture of like a screenshot to say that here's our flight. We're going to be going to wherever.
I will. I love that. Thank you. Yes.
You're welcome. Yeah, it gives me goosebumps. It's acts of service. I love it.
I'm the same way.
Right?
Yeah.
I will enjoy that so much for you. And you'll come back and go, oh my God, we should have done that years ago.
Yeah.
What's wrong? And it's just, that is the double-edged sword of being successful is taking care of yourself first. Most people do not. And then you burn out or you question yourself and toxic thoughts and right. And you're like not sleeping at night. Well, then what the shit? So There's my 2 cents for you.
Thank you.
I also love the fact that we both have the same hanger because today's Blue Day
I know.
for Brittany and Jeff, which is fucking hilarious.
It's funny. I almost put on pink because that's usually what I wear. But I was like, no, it's not Wednesday. So I'll wear blue.
I love it. No, I love it. You're good. All right, so I have questions for you.
Okay.
Because I've done, yeah. Okay.
I love questions.
Social media can make or break a career overnight. What's been your biggest win from social media? And conversely, what's been your most challenging moment?
That's a great question. My biggest win from social media, I would say, is the fact that I can live anywhere, and I have lived in multiple places because my marketing is done through my social media. I've been able to make money, more money than I thought I could. And it pretty much came just from putting myself out there on social media. So, and the second part of the question was the
biggest challenge with social media that you faced.
The biggest challenge is, like we said, we're always busy. And like anyone, I'm human. And something for me is I always want to put, like, sometimes when I'm brainstorming ideas or if I'm writing or making content, I always want to portray like the part of myself that I like. I'm really positive. I'm happy. I'm generally a connector of people, but I'm human. So when I'm going through a hard time or struggling mentally, it's really hard for me to still show up on social media because I don't want to come across as fake. And so I'll notice with myself, like oftentimes my posts are more well thought out and I feel like deep and fun, and you can get my vibe when I'm in, a good space. But then when I'm kind of stressed out, it'll be more like I'll look at what's trending and I'll notice that I'm not being as creative. And I don't know if anyone else would notice because I ask like my partner and my close friends, they're like, I could never tell that you were going through something. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess that's good because I don't want to, I try to look at social media and pretend it's in person. So if someone like opens my page, I want them to feel like they're meeting me in person because that is actually another part that's been a struggle. I am such an in-person person. I love people. I love face-to-face. I like reading people's body language, getting a sense of them. And I always had a job where I was on the go. I was in sales before. So transitioning to purely social media has been really hard in that sense.
It's something that, and I've been doing it since I was on America Online back in like the early 2000s.
Okay.
Right? So I've been walking the walk for a while. Vulnerability is the number one way you're going to connect with your audience.
That is 100% true. And that's often what I tell people. And it makes you, I've had clients come to me or I've gotten deals because people are like, we like that you put it out there. And I'm like, well, it's not necessarily easy to talk about, my flaws or what I'm feeling. But I want to be honest and show up.
Anybody I've talked to, and I have a marketing firm, a consulting firm.
Okay.
And so with my clients, I go, lead with the struggle that you are dealing with at that moment. Because as soon as you do, people are going to lock onto you.
Yeah.
Because they're going to sympathize or empathize with you. And then a lot of times it leads to engagement where people are going, honey, I've been there. You'll get through it. You've got this, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, thank you.
That's true. And I also try to, like, something I'll often say is like, because I want my clients to know I'm a real person too, or people think like things come easy to me. And it's like, no, I have injuries, I have hardships, but I also don't like that victim mentality. So I'll preface it with like, hey, I'm not complaining. I'm just putting it out there so people know that, it's real.
I wouldn't even say that. If they think you're complaining, fuck them. Because they should, if anything, know you well enough that you're not whining.
Mm-hmm. That's the hard
You didn't get to
part.
where you are by fucking whining.
Yeah, exactly.
Like reverse engineer it for a second, my friend. If they're watching your content and they're consuming your content, how you're driven. I mean, you're at an elite level with your body in the most overweight, obese, heart disease country in the world, right? You're walking the walk. You're not just lip service. You're not doctoring your photos.
Mm-hmm.
Goob?
Oh, I know Goob and I have reported together.
I fucking love that guy. And I've told him as soon as you come to Vegas, and he wants to come on, but I mean, he's so good, right? Mm-hmm. Like how he just, in a good way, outs people.
Yeah.
And you can look at any of your photos. There's no lines like this around, anything, or, it's hilarious what he does. You work so hard at who you are physically and mentally. Give yourself grace.
Thank you. That's
You're
very
welcome.
kind of you.
You're welcome. But give yourself grace, my friend. And that when you're coming forward to go, I'm having a bad day today, but God damn it, I want to share it with you. You're not whining. You're venting.
Okay.
And that's okay.
I'll keep that in mind today.
Right?
Yeah.
Because we all go through shit like that. And I do it sometimes. I'll do content, but like, not good today, but let's talk. Or a lot of times also live streams
Okay.
are wonderful. Wonderful to get engagement and to get conversations going.
I did a live stream on Friday actually for Granite.
How'd it
Yeah.
go?
It went really well. Yeah. And it's funny because you wouldn't know, that behind me that was like, we were having someone repair our AC. It's like all the like life duties.
Nobody knows.
You're going to laugh. Yeah.
Nobody fucking knows.
Yeah. Yeah.
They look at you and go, unicorns jumping through rainbows. Brittany, I don't fucking know. These people don't know. What platform were you on? Instagram?
Instagram.
Do you live stream anywhere else or just do IG?
Usually just IG. I've done Facebook a few times. My Facebook page does really well. It's kind of
Good.
a different audience though. Yeah.
Talk to me about your demographic.
My demographic on Instagram specifically, because I look at that a lot, is half women, half men, mostly 30 to 35, mostly people in the US. And that makes me happy that it's half women, half men, because I know for a lot of female influencers, it ends up being more men. That's how it is on Facebook for me. But I try really hard to, because I mix up my content for sure, but I try really hard to always go back to the reason I created my brand. So
It's a lot of content creators that I've spoken with, myself included, don't look at the data a lot. They don't look at their target demo and then curate more content for them. I'm 75% men, 35 to 44.
okay.
Like they're going to gobble
Yes,
you
that's
up. They're going to love you. Like this is going to be like the clips from this, please. Done, already done and done, which is hilarious because I know that. And I do it now whenever I'm vetting people that want to come on here. I say no politely more often than I say, yes, you can come on.
I feel so honored.
Right? Well, and thank you. It wasn't intended for that, but thank you very much. It's just, but it's like, this is my baby. Like I have kids, but this is like my kid as well. And I protect this. And I love getting the DMs from people. Hey, I'd be great for your podcast. I'm going to be, that's like, it could be a Wednesday. I'm going to be in Vegas this weekend. So let me know when I can come on.
The entitlement.
The fuck?
Now you have to be asked.
What? What people have no concept of, you know it, of the work that goes in to putting one of these on. How often are you putting out podcast content?
So I have 2 podcasts. One is new, one I've had for a year and a half, and we try to do one bi-weekly. So right now we have a couple already planned that are coming out, and then we're actually taking a break, which I'm really excited about because my co-host, she's getting married. I'm getting my surgery. And we were like, you know what? We deserve our break. But it's really cool. Like I love being in the studio, seeing everything you've done because I'm not there yet with my podcast. Our goal was to not spend any money at first. So we were doing it like on our laptop. And I remember I got a mic off Amazon and it's been fun to see just the quality, like the audio improve. And now we have video. So, but at the end of the day, I realized like we were still getting really good stats even when we didn't spend any money. We were just doing it because, so I started a podcast with one of my really good friends who does the same thing I do for work. And we were always calling each other like, hey, are you okay today? Like, how are clients going? Because she was always alone. I was always alone. And we both moved cross country. So we were just checking in. And I was like, one day we were on ESPN together for strongman games. And we got a lot of requests to do a live. And I was like, Christy, why don't we just start a podcast if people want to hear? Because we'll talk about exactly what we're talking about now. Our struggles. We started interviewing people recently, but our first whole season was just about how to be an online coach, body image struggles, like everything we would just talk about on the phone.
Can we talk a little bit about body image struggles?
Absolutely.
A little bit? Because
yes.
I think that's something, I mean, look what Goob outs people all the time. Those people are, that's like poster child body image struggles.
Yeah.
Right? Do you see a lot of that in the, in the industry?
Yes. I think in the fitness industry, people have body dysmorphia as just part of it. We're always talking about it, because you see yourself in a condition that's not realistic nor healthy. And that becomes the norm because that's when people celebrate you. Like, wow, look what he or she did. Look what they look like. And you only look like that when you're on stage for a couple hours. And, and then when you see, it's almost like, how we were talking about success.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's the one aspect when you see your body almost quote unquote get worse when you walk off stage, definitely gives you some body dysmorphia issues. And then being on social media, it's like you're going to get eaten alive no matter what you look like. I could feel I sound my best that day. Someone will eat me apart. I'm personally working on not caring as much. Like even for today, I will be completely honest for today. I have been kind of going through it the last week and a half. And today I was getting ready really quick. I had a call, so I only had like 20 minutes. And I looked at my boyfriend before I left and I was like, can you tell that like I have no eyelashes on and I'm a mess? And he's like, no, you look fine. I'm like, okay.
You look great.
So we're just constantly picking ourselves apart. I try to be kind to myself in the mirror, and that's easier sometimes than others.
What do you think is the number one body dysmorphia issue that people are facing?
In bodybuilding specifically,
Yeah.
we are never good enough. We don't feel...
That's sad.
I know. It's very sad.
That breaks my heart.
It is sad.
Like as a dad, like I'm like, oh, I want to hug all of you. Like,
I know.
It's okay.
Yeah. I think for men, they feel that they're not big enough usually. And I've noticed that they don't like when the scale goes down. And for women, it's more, they don't feel like they're lean enough or they're conditioned enough oftentimes.
It's something that, again, we all fight a war every day up here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's how do you, in a healthy way, deal with that challenge of how do I let myself know that it's okay to not be okay?
Mm.
How do I give myself grace to be like, we're good here.
Mm-hmm.
We're okay. It's all right. Anybody who thinks that when you start getting a decent audience online, that like it's all roses, no. Like then even more the haters come out. And it's something that I clap back every once in a while, but then when it starts to consume me, when I'm already like waiting for them to reply to my reply, I stop. I walk away.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't see it. And I remember very specifically, I was in great condition. I was getting ready for nationals. I know I looked good. And I was in the Uber ride reading some of the comments to my partner, like laughing at them. Like, oh, she looks like such a man. She has a receding hairline, like all this stuff that I know isn't true. And the Uber driver started cracking up. He's like, someone said that to you? Like, how do you deal with that? I was like, oh, I don't care. I think I just made a post. I like screenshotted some of my favorite comments that I thought were funny. And I think I made a post about it. It's like, because can you imagine taking the time or even having the time to go out of your way to be negative to someone? I'm like, I wish I had free time like that. Must be nice.
It's bananas.
So
what people say from private, anonymous positions, and they're in their parents' basement wearing an M&M tank top, wife beater, whatever, and just spewing hatred. And
yeah.
A lot of times sometimes, like I said, sometimes I clap back. A lot of times I'm just like, okay, man.
Yeah, just whatever.
And if it's really bad, I just block them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's tough because as a content creator, you are rewarded by the algorithms when you have engagement. So, sometimes I use ChatGPT and I take a screenshot of what they said.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And say, this was a not nice comment that was said on a post I had. Please create a respectful reply that is likely to go viral and catch a lot of eyeballs.
Oh, I'll try that.
Yeah. If you ever want help with that, just text me and I've got you.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. But it's like, I want to be playing chess when everyone else is playing checkers. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Especially one step
ahead. Especially 1 to 2, 3 steps ahead in the content creation game, because so many people think it's just, I just post and people are, because you have an advantage that you look great, you sound great, and you're smart as shit.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So it's like, check, check, check. I can be funny, but my head looks like my neck threw up. So I have a lot to fucking overcome. Thank God I have a hot wife. That cancels out everything else. Yeah, right? I mean, she's
and Brady has a great personality.
She's the best. So it's
yeah.
like, but it's a lot of times people don't understand that content creators are people too. And we have feelings just like you do.
Mm-hmm.
We're going through battles and wars just like you are, y'all.
Yeah.
And so, it's nice sometimes just to post a nice comment and post that and go, thank you so much. Jiggle shorts 1, 2, 3, wherever you are. Like, thank you for that, because that's something that can really, and I know people that it's torn them down.
Oh, I do too. Yes.
Right?
Yes. Especially like I'll have younger girls ask me that a lot. Like, how do you deal with this? And that's when I almost started using social media back in 2017. I want to say, I remember I was at my biggest. I was in prep for Strongest Woman in the World. And at that point, I didn't care about aesthetics at all. I cared about winning. So I was a big girl. I was much bigger than I am now. I had huge traps. And I'll never forget, this is one of my favorite stories. I was at Whole Foods in Providence, Rhode Island. And normally I was in scrubs because that's what I did for work. I was in medical sales, but I was wearing a tank top and shorts, hot summer day. Some guy came up to me and told me, literally in person, told me I was too big. I'll never forget. I was like flabbergasted because I looked at him and it took me a minute. And so I went back over to him because I was thinking of my client who was dealing with her mom and dad at the time, telling her she was getting too big. So I went up to him. I remember I posted it on Facebook after, just like as a status, because I couldn't believe it. I went up to him and I said, "Excuse me, sir, I don't care that you said that to me, but I want to let you know that I think you're short, too short." And he looked at me kind of weird and I go, "I don't mean anything by that. I just wanted to give you a taste of your own medicine." And then a woman told me, like, "Good for you." Because I just felt like, I'm sick of people getting away with it. And normally, I'm not a shy person, but the grocery store of all places seems to be where it's almost like the internet come to life. It's like people I can't believe what they say. Like people, especially in Las Vegas, it's like people go to the grocery store in their pajamas. And it's made me, I should do an experiment where I've actually always wanted to do this. I really should do it, where I have like a hidden camera on and go to the store just so you can see hear the comments I get. Even when I don't realize I look any different. I think because I'm in the fitness industry and I'll be wearing like sweatpants and a hat. And yeah, it's not all negative though. Like it was last Sunday, a woman told me that she loved my body and I was so pretty. And I literally looked at her and I was like, "Thank you so much," because I've been battling some demons like we all are. And I was like, that just meant the world to me. It was just a stranger. So positive and negative.
I would, as a marketing guy, what I could do with you. I would get, if I were you, those Meta Ray-Ban glasses.
Okay.
That can record right from the glasses.
Oh, I need to do that. No, I've always wanted to do, I want to call it Grocery Store Chronicles.
Get a set of those.
Okay, the Meta.
Yep, it's Meta Ray-Ban glasses.
Okay.
Get a set of those bad boys.
Okay.
And hit record or whatever it is and go into Whole Foods in Summerlin or, Trader Joe's or wherever and just record that content.
Okay.
I think you would have oodles of good and also like, this is kind of cringeworthy stuff people are saying, like everyone now hates on Elon Musk for, people are burning Teslas, which is hilarious to me. But it's like that kind of like, I think people, you'll be looking at people, but you could also like pixelate their face and all that.
Yeah.
That's even better.
Yeah. I'll definitely have to do that.
Oh my God, that'd be great if you did that. Please, please let me know if you do that.
I will.
If you want to help with that also, I'll help you with that one.
Okay.
Too. Oh my God. Has there ever been a moment where you felt pressured to portray yourself differently online versus who you really are? And how did you handle it if you did?
Yes. So when I first made the decision to coach full time in 2020, I started quote unquote influencing too. So I didn't realize at the time, but you could get brand deals. Like I think my first deal ever was a mattress company and they sent me a mattress, a beautiful free mattress, but I also got paid for it. And then I had I think it was a 30-day contract with a brand called Real Good Foods. I remember they were frozen foods that you could get at Walmart, Target, and one other place. But they asked me I was in the middle, I was like 2 weeks out of a show, and the campaign was for ice cream. And they told me I had to eat it, do this. And I said like, hey, I felt a little bit of pressure. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to put my own spin on this. So I fed it to my dog, took a picture eating her. And I go, yeah, because my dog has an Instagram too. I've actually made her part of my brand. And so I was like, how can I spin this? And I made a joke about how I couldn't eat it, but I was going to give it to Rosie. So that was the only time I felt a little bit of pressure, I would say. I've been very lucky that I feel like companies know, because I put myself out there so much, that like I don't want to Photoshop. I've had to tell, photographers like, hey, don't do that. I know my skin's not perfect, but please don't edit it.
The worst thing that could happen is, again, this is all about trust. Doing a podcast, putting out content from the podcast, there has to be a level of trust, Brittany. And if, again, it's with you, with anybody, if you were to take the content from here and filter it in a way that you feel more comfortable with how you look, and that goes out, and then the following week, you do a live stream, and there's no fucking filters really on that, especially on Instagram. On TikTok, you could filter the shit out of it, but Instagram, there's not a lot you could do there. And they're seeing you for real. That level of trust is going to go with your brand.
Yeah.
Like the classic one is real estate agents, where you'd see, and this is not everyone, but a lot of real estate agents, they'll have in their signature block for emails a picture of them. And then you meet them in person, you're like, I have a meeting with your younger sister. I don't know who you look like your warranty expired 3 years ago if I'm going off of your picture that you sent me. It's totally different. And that you're trusting somebody with the biggest monetary purchase decision of your life, buying a house, and they're lying about who they look like.
Yeah.
Right? Same analogy, that to be doing what you're doing, and honestly, the flaws that you're looking at, most people are like,
oh, I know. And that's what
they're too self-absorbed with their own self-imposed flaws to be looking at you and putting something onto you.
That's what I tell people all the time, because I get so excited when other people want to start doing their own thing and they ask me for advice. And my biggest piece of advice is always like, start just talking to the camera and don't watch it, because you're gonna pick yourself apart, but no one else is. You're gonna, notice flaws you might not have even seen before. And I'm guilty of it too, but I've gotten better, because again, the only person that's watching it and scrutinizing it is most likely yourself.
If you're doing podcasts and you're just getting into podcasts, don't look at anything until you've dropped 10 episodes.
I like that. Okay? 10. Okay.
That's what I tell my clients, because you're still getting your sea legs. And if you look at your first 5 episodes, they're fucking train wrecks. They're going to be awful. And that's going to affect you moving forward. But after, say, drop 10, then episode 11, watch that.
Yeah.
I went for a year without looking at my stuff. And I'm 2.5 years in here. But my first year, oh, please. I'd rather go to the dentist.
Yeah.
Than watch Fargo Talks episodes 1 through, 20, 25. Fuck off, Jeff. It's not going to happen. Same thing with people that are just dropping content. Like, don't be overly critical of the videos you are putting on Reels, TikTok, wherever. Just drop them.
Yeah.
Stop overthinking it. I tell my clients, if you're taking more than 15 seconds, send it to me.
Yeah.
Stop it. Paralysis of analysis. Just stop it. Right?
Yes.
It's just like, just be you.
Yeah.
Just be you. We have so much shit put on us now because of you motherfuckers. Because of fucking you people. We got to step up and do all this extra shit sometimes, which really you don't have to.
Yeah.
The more you're just real, that's what gets eyeballs. That's what gets engagement, I think. Right?
I think so too.
Chiron uses Young for Life wellness, and now he's literally glowing. Meanwhile, my glow comes from studio lighting and desperation.
Called wellness, Jeff.
I prefer denial. We just talked about this one. This one was, do you think social media creates unrealistic standards, particularly for women in fitness? And what responsibility do influencers have in addressing that?
Yes. And I think that influencers, whatever you want to do with your brand is fine. But I do think as women, especially in fitness, you should not edit your photos. I often see sometimes the best in the world. I'm not going to drop any names, but they're winning Olympiads and stuff and they're editing their photos. And it's like, why? Why are you doing that? Like, how do you think the rest of the world feels if you're doing that?
And if you fake it long enough, Goob's going to find you and then you're done. He's like the 60 Minutes of outing fitness influencers. And I love it.
I love it too.
I love him just shining the light on because you're like, wait, and it's 50-50 guys to girls is what I've seen him doing. And he's a guy that's extremely fit and is funnier than hell. Like, I mean, he's a New York City guy, so of course he's fucking funny. But it's like, you can't outrun disclosure and technology these days. And people are going to see that the shit is like this and warped and, like your hips are, it's hilarious. Would you say social media has overall enhanced your life, or are there times you'd consider stepping away from it completely?
Oh, that's such, I ponder that question often because I would never be living here, sitting here right now if it weren't for social media. But on the flip side of the coin, I'd also probably have been on vacation. And I probably would have already written a book that I'm working on now. Like things like that. It can be time consuming. So that's a tough one to say. I think overall, probably I wouldn't change anything because I met my partner. I have my, all my friends and every opportunity. Like I was one of those people that I never even went on a plane until sports gave me the opportunity. I've left the country because of sports. And I equate that with social media because right when I started my professional strongwoman career, that's when I started going overseas. And it was because I used my social media like a training journal. So I always try to remind myself to go back to that because when I feel pressured to make content, do this, or try something new, it's like, no, why did I start it? And I'm actually going to make a post today that's honest because I was trying to think of like a Monday thing and I took a picture yesterday with my dog and I'm going to post what I feel. So you can see that later.
I love it.
Yeah. So
I love it.
That reminded me of go back to your roots, Brittany, which was just to express myself. And I love writing. I feel like social media has gotten like kind of sexy with like more TikTok style where it's like short dancing. We have short attention spans, only getting shorter because of social media and the constant dopamine hits we want. Yeah. But, your audience, you'll attract who you're supposed to attract. So I'm going to go back to, I think, more like writing posts, which is what I love.
Good for you.
Yeah.
What's the biggest misconception that's out there about being a professional strong woman?
People think you make a lot of money just from competing, and women don't make much money at all. So I'm retired now from Strong Woman, and I walked away when people were still clapping. I'm very happy with my titles, but the amount of stress it was taking on my body, I just didn't want to do any more surgeries. I had a couple of wrist reconstructions. I'm getting my knee repaired in 2 weeks, like I keep talking about. Obviously, I'm a little bit nervous about that. But I went into bodybuilding because it was quote unquote like easier on the body. But yeah, the biggest misconception is that you make a lot of money.
And you don't?
No, not from the sport itself. You can make money in other ways from developing your brand, but it's not easy at all.
Do the guys make any money?
Yes, the men make more money.
Of course they do. Jesus Christ.
But that's okay. We're catching up. I've been fighting for it. Yeah, so.
But men make more?
Yes.
Like what percentage more do you think than women?
They can't, again, they still, for a professional strongman or bodybuilders too, it's like, yes, they might make a small salary. I think it would be about, if I did the math, about double.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Do you think women have more opportunities for sponsorships or to monetize their content over men?
I think sometimes men think that. They say I've heard men say like, oh, it's easy for a woman because, they're easier to look at. In a different way, they could. It just depends how they want to show themselves. But I think as far as like sponsorships that come from meaningful companies, it's about equal.
Well, I'm just going to ask it. There's guys that have fetishes about getting the shit kicked out of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very common.
Right? Like that's a biggie. And I think that would be the only avenue where strong women could excel in monetizing their content that way, that there's more guys out there looking for content like that than guys or girls looking from a man, from a strong man.
Yes.
Right?
Very, very true. But I've also heard from some of my strong man friends that men will also reach out to them.
Really?
Yeah, wanting them to be lifted or it's called lift carry, that particular fetish.
Okay.
If you want to get into it, I can get into that more. So
let's do it.
Yes, I have a funny story about that. So when I was younger, strong man to me was just, I feel like a kid in a candy shop. I was always lifting rocks. Like my parents were teasing me when I was younger, like, what is Brittany lifting? So there were several pictures of me. I think it was MySpace. I was really young. I always was just literally lifting my mom, my friends, just like, I don't know, it's just what I did. And there was a YouTube created once where someone took every photo of me they could find on MySpace, Facebook, and there was they put it behind music. Like it was a production of me lifting people. And I got really upset, had YouTube take it down because they even had footage of me, like the kids I babysat when I was like 15 years old. They had pictures like lifting them. And I had no idea that I think I posted something. I had a memory from 10 years ago when I took a screenshot of the YouTube because I thought it was so funny. I didn't realize that was a real thing. And now I have capitalized on it before. Like people ask me to arm wrestle if I'm at like a fitness competition. I'm like, sure, if you want to give me a couple $100, why not?
And good for you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's smart.
Yeah, my partners helped me a lot with that because I was always like kind of timid and afraid. I'm like, well, I don't really want anyone to touch me or do that. And I'm like, you know what? If we're in a safe place, I know they're not going to hurt me. I know I feel confident that I could beat them. Why not make a couple $100?
Hey, bunny, it's all about consent.
Yeah.
Right?
Consent,
It's all about consent.
Yes.
And as long as you're cool with it and it's in a safe environment and this person, you can only judge a book by its cover to some extent, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I thought like the whole video thing, like OnlyFans for strong women is like, yeah. Like, why not? If you make the money.
Yeah.
Because again, all due respect to you, you're a professional athlete. You've got this much time to make this much money. And once this time is expired, that's it.
I think about that often because I look at things like OnlyFans. There's so many platforms. And I don't have an OnlyFans. I have something similar called Honey Drip.
Honey Drip?
Yes, Honey Drip.
All right.
But I was so afraid because for years and years and years, people asked me like, why don't you have one? And I'm like, I do reporting jobs. Maybe I'll want to go back to the corporate world sometime. I don't want to put anything on the internet that I would be embarrassed by. But this past summer, I created the Honey Drip and it's been amazing because, again, I used authenticity. I talk about it on Instagram. I'm like, hey, you're getting my modeling pictures for free. Time to pay for them.
Good for you.
So I did that. And I remember I went home for my brother's wedding last Halloween. And my mom and dad were like, what is this Honey Drip thing? I go, you know what? Let's sit down and look at it. And they were shocked. They were like, you really made that much money from that? Measuring biceps, I didn't realize, because it's something that like, again, I go back and forth with because I do take pride in having a brain. So I limit it. I make sure that that's not my only source of income. And I kind of like at times need to just put it aside and not worry about it. And then there are times like when I'm in prep and 6 weeks out and am in good conditioning, it's like, okay, cool, I can capitalize on that. And that's just extra fun money that I can now contribute to my 401k.
Good for you.
So yeah, it's fun.
Good for you.
It's fun. But again, I think that prioritizing mental health and making sure I have very strong boundaries with that are very important because I know girls that have gone down doing things they're not comfortable with. And I'm like, no, you have to honor yourself, know your price. And again, like I've done even lift carry videos with my partner And I'm like, this is my price if you want me to, they'll have me like squat him. And yeah, again, I didn't think I would talk about that on this podcast, but it's something that I want to be upfront about because I'm like, I'm going to own it. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to own it. And my future kids one day, I want them to know.
It's, I with my kids, I tell them, I'll never lie to you.
Mm-hmm.
My stepdaughter's 16, my daughter's 15, my son is 9. I tell all of them, I'll never lie to you. You might not like the answer, so be prepared when you ask me a question of the answer you're going to get back.
That's how it should be. Mm-hmm.
Right? Because I want them to have those same standards as they get older. That's our job. So good for you.
But I also agree that there's a short time to capitalize on it.
Make the money,
Yes.
my friend.
Yes.
Absolutely make the money. I mean, have you looked at like Brittany AI?
No.
Okay. So
Have I played with AI, like used it or just seen?
well, they have so I've had like Rochelle Ryan, big adult film star, and we're great friends. She's awesome. She has an AI version of her
Okay.
that people can click on. And the next time I see her post a story about it, I'll send it to you.
Okay. Yes. I think actually like one of the lifting fans
brilliant.
made one for me.
It's brilliant.
But yeah, I haven't
So
really.
it's just, again, another source of income for you is this AI figure comes up and it's, you approve everything about like what it's going to do and say and all that, but it's you.
Oh, yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild. And if anything, like I've talked to Rochelle off camera about it. I'm like, honey bunny, you could use this in 30 years and you could be, looking like one of the Golden Girls playing shuffleboard in Key Biscayne.
Yeah.
And hanging out with a house coat on and still having, stuff out there from 20, 30 years prior.
Yeah.
And so I know that a lot of women are going in that direction because then it never sleeps. It never goes on break. It never goes on vacation. It never has knee surgery. So does food for thought.
Okay.
Is to look into something like that. Like I said, she posts stuff all the time. I'll also reach out to her and be like, hey, who'd you use for this? Blah, blah,
Okay,
blah, blah, blah.
thank you.
And I'll get it to you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, of course. Well, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, you are a commodity, for lack of a better term, but you're a commodity on your terms, on your standards. And so if somebody wants to see a lift carry, I love that. I learn something new every goddamn day. A lift carry photo or picture of you, or video of you, why not? Yes, you could do it. Or here's AI Brittany.
That's a good thought because it is hard.
Right. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. This is a good one. When in competition, you're competing at such a high level. How do you recover from setbacks? How do you take the time? And how long do you give yourself to be like, God damn it, before you move on?
I usually, right after I compete, make sure that I write about it for myself so that I learn from what I did wrong, but also try and remember, the positives. I usually give myself about a week because the emotions at first, I'm not sure if they're real or they're just initial thoughts. So I give myself about a week to really feel what I want to feel.
Do you journal?
Yes.
That's brilliant.
Yes.
That's like next level because when the average person faces some type of setback, this wave of negative and toxic emotions come over you. And for you to be disciplined enough to go, okay, they're coming, but I'm going to put a dam up for a little bit. So maybe some of them can come through, but not the whole thing, because I want to sit and write down how I'm feeling right now.
Yeah, I've journaled my whole life, and it's a
That's
tool
great.
I'll use to sometimes I'll just open back up to a random date and I'll be like, how was I feeling? And I'm like, oh, I forgot about that, or I got through that, or, I wrote down what I said I was going to do. Because oftentimes you don't realize, like, we're all so busy that you'll achieve something and not even realize it.
It's like we talked about before, we live in such a Adderall, ADHD, Amazon Prime culture right now that a true flex is being able to slow down.
Yes.
Think about
That's
that for a
powerful.
second, right? that if you have the power to slow your brain down and actually write down what you're experiencing it's cathartic for you to do it, but then to give you something to look back on.
Mm-hmm.
To be like, man, how did I get through that one competition? How did I get through that one thing that happened when, somebody said I look too big at fucking Whole Foods? Like that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's like on a smaller way, like I do box breathing to fall asleep at night, right? And I learned it from a TikTok video of some guy that was like an ex-Navy SEAL, 5, 5, 5, 5. It works every single time to slow my brain down. That and whenever I'm stressed, I know that my tongue goes to the roof of my mouth. And I'm clenching because my jaw will hurt.
Okay.
If I'm under stress.
Huh.
And so it'll happen at night because my brain's going like this because I have ADHD and I don't take Adderall anymore. Right now I do methylene blue and no, I'm not getting a sponsor from them, but goddamn it, you want to call me because I love that shit. But it's like, what can you do to relax and reset yourself?
Mm-hmm.
When you get to that level, like for you to journal, bravo.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'll do that. And oftentimes what I'll do with good friends, or not really clients as much, it's more of a personal thing, but with good friends, if like they're going through something, I'll tell them like, I'm going to set a reminder on my phone for 90 days. And in 90 days, I'm going to reach out to you and see how that is. Or like to get a little more serious and vulnerable. Like I've had, when friends talk about suicide and stuff, I'm like, okay, let's see how you're feeling in 90 days. And it works. I've had other like friends reach out to me and they're like, thank you for doing that. Because it just gives yourself, because when you are presented with a problem or a crisis comes up, it might feel like the end of the world. But they say, I forget where I read that once. It was a long time ago, but it takes about 90 days to look at something from a different perspective.
And that's real. Like I've had those thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't for my wife and kids, multiple times I've had thoughts about that. And I think anybody who is successful, who is a driver, and who's hard on themselves, goes through that.
Yes.
Because you're like, I've had enough.
Yes.
I can't do it anymore. I'm done.
Yes.
And to get, a phone call from a friend, the best advice I ever got from a friend of mine was, if you ever are thinking about somebody, reach out to them. Just reach out to them and call them. Mm-hmm. Don't text them, call them. Leave a voicemail, which is unheard of to do voicemails these days, but to go, hey, I love you. I was just thinking of you. Hope you're okay. Call me back.
Yeah. It's very true. I have one of my good friends that just moved here. She's 37 and she's a widow. Her husband.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. And she said the same thing. And my partner now actually tragically lost someone that he was dating before me. And it's just so young, you don't realize what could happen. So I haven't been through that, but hearing two people that are so close to me that have dealt with that type of grief, I love being surrounded by those type of people. And my partner's very good for me because he's the one, just like it seems like Brandy is for you, that kind of brings you down a notch. It's like, this isn't the end of the world. You're being very hard on yourself. But when you're so wrapped up in it, that can be difficult.
One of the greatest things she does with me, and it's every night, because I'm 6'3". I'm used to being big spoon. When I was dating somebody, when I was married, I was big spoon. I still spoon Brandy, but often she big spoons me.
I love that. Yeah. You're safe.
That's my safe space.
Yeah.
With her arms are around me. And this morning, she's even like whispering positive affirmations in my ear.
That's how you know you're with the right person.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm fucking bawling. But it's like, it's never too tough. It just means that when you're at a point that you've had enough and you want to give up on yourself, that means stop everything you're doing. Stop it. Because your brain is telling you, we're done here.
Yeah.
You have no more bandwidth to move on with what you're trying to do. You being on this earth is much more important than anything else. Mm-hmm. So stop.
Yeah.
Just stop.
Yeah. It's hard when you're in the moment. Something I try to ask myself. I'm like, is this stressful or is this actually a tragedy?
It's when you have hormonal daughters, stepdaughter, and so I pick and choose the hills I die on all the time because I'm looking at them and like we'll say something or we're parenting them and the reaction sometimes is way up here. Mm-hmm. The reaction is like a 10 and it really should be about a 3. But you go, oh, you let them vent and be heard and all that. But they're like, okay, is it really that bad that you didn't get really good grades, so we're taking your phone away until grades come out again? Like, you're not going to, the world's not going to end.
You're not going to combust, yeah.
You're not going to spontaneously combust because of we've put these, restrictions on your life right now.
Yes.
And so it's perception, but it's a totally different world now with this, and everyone's got a podcast now, and so it's interesting.
It is.
What a different road we just fucking went down.
I know. I love how podcasts can do that.
I love your brain. I love this. What's the hardest behind the scenes part of your training that people don't see? Is there ever part of your training that you just don't let people in?
Yes. So I would say I battle a lot at night because of just built up injuries. And like you were saying, you struggle with sleep. Sleep has always been extremely difficult for me. And it'll be, if it's, I spent so much money on different pillows and I've tried everything. And it's like some nights are great, but some nights I'm just like, wow, I'm in a lot of pain. Like the injuries do add up. I was, being a strongman, any sport at the highest level is not healthy. But it's like, there's a funny meme. There's a funny meme I saw once, and it was like a SpongeBob meme, and it said like, you're going to regret all this heavy lifting when you're older. And it was like, no, shut up, Mom. I think it was like Patrick saying that. I don't remember exactly, but I remember my little brother sent it to me when I was in my 20s, and I thought it was the funniest thing. And now I'm like, okay, I don't regret deadlifting cars, and my body is very strong, but it's like, yes, the injuries are tough, and I don't want to, I talk about them, but I'm not going to like obviously bring my video camera to bed at night and be like, oh, I'm struggling. No, I don't bring my phone in my room. That's a very hard rule that I go by. So
good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
What's the greatest achievement you experienced as a strong woman?
When in 2017, I went to Norway for my second strongest woman in the world. And it was my first time going overseas. And I brought my mom with me, and it was my mom's second time on a plane and her first time leaving the country. And she didn't come from much. So to be able to see her do that was pretty special.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
If you have any photos from that, get them to me.
Okay.
And my team will weave those into that clip.
Okay.
Yeah.
I definitely will.
Oh my God. Oh
Yes.
my God. What does strength mean to you personally, beyond just the physical?
Yeah. So my mission statement that I came up with a long time ago has always been to showcase what strength can do for quality of life in mind, body, and spirit. Because in this world, social media world, everything we've been talking about, people concentrate so much on the physical and really neglect the mental part of it.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
It's people don't understand how it's a marathon, not a sprint, to get your body to look like the way it does.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do it over and over and over. And how many times, like there was a Nike commercial one time that somebody was like 5 a.m, the alarm goes off, and they're like, and the bed's like, stay here. And it's like, just do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a woman gets up and puts on her running shoes and goes for a run.
Yeah.
It's freezing outside and it's pitch black, but still goes for that run.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that same type of thing. What do you do to overcome those hurdles when your brain's like, Brittany, girl, we're done today. Let's just stay home and eat fucking bonbons. I'm done.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I struggle a lot with actually the opposite of that. So I don't like to rest. And with something like surgery coming up, I'm like, oh, that's going to interrupt my routine. And my partner reminds me, he's like, you've been doing this for how long? He's like, a couple of days or even a couple of weeks isn't going to destroy everything. So I try to reframe it. I'm like, okay, how can I get better from this rest? I could read more. I can work on my business. I've been neglecting some tax stuff. I'm like, I can be organized with that. So funny enough, my surgery is actually on tax day.
Is it really?
Yeah.
15th?
Yeah, April 15th.
Hilarious.
So yeah, I would say mine's kind of the opposite with not being anxious about rest.
Can you turn it off? your brain? Can you turn it off and just be chill?
So something I've actually struggled with since moving to Vegas is turning off a bit more, because I've lived in Washington, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and those were all places that had woods and ocean. I feel a lot calmer around the ocean, I've noticed. So I've had to, around Vegas, I've discovered the mountains, but I've also had to kind of like figure out how to fit that in, because there are certain times of the year you can't really go outside, or I can't really be in the sun. You know, I'm pale. I can't. Even yesterday, I was out in the sun, like hiking, and I'm like, I really should not be out here for too much longer. So, but turning off outside is definitely my escape. Something else I have that I need to pick back up on is I have I'm drawing a blank on the name. You know those timers that are sand that you flip over?
Hourglass.
Hourglass. Thank you. I have a 15-minute hourglass timer that I used to, my schedule for a long time when I was single and lived alone was go on my morning walk with my dog, use the timer, and write for 15 minutes or read. I'd pick one or the other. And I felt like that really, really helped me just be the best version of myself. I would do that before I would answer any emails or go on a podcast or anything like that. And I'll admit I've been letting that habit slip, and I need to pick that back up, because that was a really good escape for me.
Do it. And as soon as you do it, text me.
Okay, well.
We have a bunch of stuff to follow up on.
It's funny though, I'm laughing because we're talking about this morning routine, and like people make fun of influencers. They're like, oh, your 3-hour morning routine. Who has time for that?
Well, like, who was the one guy that like had the water?
Oh, the water, the expensive water. Yeah.
Like, and I guess like he was like renting that place and got evicted. Like it's all horse shit.
You never know what's really going on.
Dude, it's almost all of it's horse shit. It's yeah. What's one passion or interest completely unrelated to fitness that your followers might be shocked to learn about you?
Oh, so I am a closet poet. So I used to win a lot of poetry contests, and I actually wouldn't, my mom would always yell at me, I wouldn't go to receive my award because I told her, I was like, I don't want to read my work. That's like my naked soul. So I have challenged myself, because I used to have like an anonymous Instagram account where I post like different poetry stuff. And every once in a while, I will use a photo and like post a poem or something, but I haven't done that in a long time. But when usually people really close to me know. So
I'm going to add that to the list. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 things. That one I already asked you. When it comes to relationships, has your intense training and career ever impacted your personal relationships, friendships, family dynamics?
Yes, especially in my 20s. So for a decade, I was competing in strongman, and I had boyfriends here and there. I had one serious one. And it just like, I put so much into training and even friendships. Like if friends weren't at that level, I let a lot of them go. I have one good friend from high school that she's been like my biggest supporter. I told her, I explained it to her one day. I'm like, you coming to watch me at the Arnold is probably more important than my wedding day, because I worked, and I honestly probably mean that still, because I worked so hard to get there and I couldn't believe that I was doing it. My family was always very supportive. Like I made it work. I also always valued family though. So I remember like I had a big competition coming up and my older brother was getting married. And so I was like, hey, I'm not going to drink or anything at your wedding. Don't be offended if I'll do the toast, and I'm going to get out of there kind of early. Like, you know, and they were like, perfect. Just, you can be the one that brings home the money and lets out the dogs. And I was like, okay, cool. Just, make me useful. And now they understand it. I think sometimes in my 20s, they didn't always. And my partner now, I warned him because when I started competing again, so we just moved in together this past summer, and we decided to do a prep together. And I was like, hey, I want you to know that when my competitive side turns on, it can sometimes be a scary place. Like I like to be left alone. I don't want to be selfish, so just tell me what you need. And then he was like, yeah, I see that. He's like, you get really obsessed. And he's like, you're like a monk. He's like, it's amazing to watch. But he also reels me back in. Because again, now that I'm in my 30s, I value relationships more. And it's like, cool, I could be the best in the world, but if I don't have anyone to share that with, then what does that mean? So I definitely would say I've learned to balance things a little bit better. That was
my next question is, do you invest as much in your relationship with your partner that you do yourself?
Yes, I do. Yes, we have a really good relationship. And he reminds me, though, all the time to like make sure you take care of yourself first, because I can be very nurturing in the sense like, I was actually explaining this to him Saturday night. I'm like, I'll think of you first. Like, I'll want to prep all your meals and do all this because, again, I think it's that, always want to be successful. It's like, I always want him to think I'm like the best little wife for him. So, and he's like, no, Brittany, he's like, you got to take care of yourself too. I'm like, okay, thank you for reminding me. And I told him that when we first started dating. I'm like, I'm going to always need reminders like that. And he's like, that's fine.
The struggle of balance is real.
Yeah.
And so many people don't understand that. But you do it, and you do it every day.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
No, you're doing it. Is there anything else that we haven't covered that you wanted to talk about? This has been great, by the way. Like I had expectations just because we filmed the commercial spots. You were great, but I'm like, this is awesome.
No, I love this podcast. Like you had said, let's talk about things you don't always talk about. I would say the last thing is people spend too much time. If anyone's watching this and you think like, oh, I'd love to do what Jeff or Brittany is doing, it's like, you can. You just have to start. I think people spend too much time planning and not taking action when you just have to jump head first into things.
Yeah.
Do it. And also like, you really have to believe it can happen, because I'll go back to that too. Like when I'm stressed out, I'm like, okay, no, I know I can do this. You just have to take a few minutes and realize.
That.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All of Brittany's information, she'll be tagged on everything, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all the things. So if people want to get a hold of you, they'll be able to do it that way. I never say, where can people get a hold of you? No one fucking watches that shit.
Yeah.
And if they're staying on this long, mazel tov, good for you. So thank you so much, my love.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, y'all.
Bye.